If I had to start over as a freelancer today with no clients, no website, and no network, here's exactly what I'd do. I'm not here to sell you on Fiverr hacks or sending cold pitches until your eyes fall out, because those things didn't work for me. What I am going to share is a realistic plan for building a stable freelance business, even if you're starting from scratch this year. The first thing I do is shift my mindset from hustling to building a business. Now, don't get me wrong, freelancing takes hard work, but I don't want you to mistake that for not being strategic. Because I think a lot of times when you're in a hustle mindset, you don't always think clearly, you're just in go, go, go mode. And you do want to be a bit more strategic, especially because you are one person and your time and your energy are valuable. Because when I first started freelancing, I treated it like a hustle and I was just constantly scrambling. I said yes to everything, and that led to me just piecing together these little projects and trying to make ends meet. That does not scale in any industry or niche. So if I were starting over, I'd start by thinking like a business owner. That means getting clear on my goals, protecting my time and energy, and building systems that support those things. Most freelancers skip this step because they are just trying to get any work, which, yes, there is a case for that in the beginning, but once you have a testimonial, a little bit of a portfolio, that season should be over and you should be more strategic. Once I had my mindset in check, I would focus on building authority in a specific niche. And this starts with having a clear niche statement. Your niche statement is just a simple one-liner. I help, insert type of client, with your skill or your service so they can achieve a certain transformation or outcome. Before you put yourself out there in any way, get clear on this. When you have clarity on who you help and how you help them, I'm telling you, everything else gets so much easier. And it gets easier because you have clarity and you can be specific with your pitches, your services, your content, your messaging. Specificity is what allows you to stop chasing clients and start attracting the right ones. So once I have my niche statement, I would pick one social platform where my ideal clients are already hanging out, and I would build a presence rooted in that messaging. So anything on my profile, the content that I create and publish, all of that is going to be based around who I help and how I help them and the transformation that I get for them. And I know for a fact that the platform that I would choose is LinkedIn, because this is where decision makers, people who hire freelancers, actually spend their time, and where they spend their time with hiring and solving business problems in mind. I would also have a simple one-page website where clients could discover me on Google and book a discovery call with me automatically. Next, I would package my skills into a monthly retainer offer. I would focus all of my energy on retainers instead of projects because stability starts with consistent income. You can work with 2 or 3 core clients consistently and build from there. So I would be looking at my skill set and thinking about the type of service that my clients could need, that they would need on an ongoing basis rather than one time. So if I were a copywriter, instead of just offering website copywriting, I would think about those things that clients need on a monthly basis, like blog articles and emails. I would also map out an initial offer, and this would just be bullet point listing, this is what's included. And I might also create a couple of different tiers, maybe 2 or 3 different tiers with different pricing so that I can serve clients with a wider range of budgets while still respecting my time and energy. Here's a couple of bonus tips for you. I would make sure that I list at least the starting price for my services on my website. That way I don't get discovery calls with people who don't have a budget for what I have to offer, and so that no one's time is wasted. I would also jump into Canva and create a deck presentation that I can present on discovery calls that outlines my services. This is my pitch deck, and after 7 years of freelancing, I can tell you it's one of my most valuable tools. And when I started using this in my business, it was probably the most immediate game changer that was like instant confidence and authority boost. So if you take one thing away from this whole video, start using a pitch deck. I will leave the link to my pitch deck Canva template down in the description, so you can grab that if you want to save some time figuring out what to put on your slides and figuring out the whole design process. The next step that I would follow is to start showing up and building trust. So I'd start showing up in places where my clients already are and having conversations, answering questions. And this might look like sharing tips and insights on LinkedIn, commenting on other people's posts. I would be joining industry groups on LinkedIn and Facebook where you've got all these people that you're looking for in one place. And as I'm having conversations with people, I would look for opportunities to add value, to offer some customized advice. I think that showing up and building trust is where a lot of freelancers get overwhelmed and waste a ton of time because they think they have to be on all these platforms, and or you think that you have to be like this mega content creator and be like creating amazing content. And that's really not the case. Like, especially on LinkedIn, you can just write text-based posts or do simple images. It kind of reminds me of the glory days of Instagram where you didn't always have to be creating these elaborate videos. You don't need to do these things that feel like awkward, make you feel a little cringe. You just need to show up with clarity and value and build a small but mighty network that knows what you do and trusts that you can help them. Speaking of networks, I would also make it my personal mission to tell every single person that I know what I am up to and see if they know anyone who might be interested in my services. And I really encourage you not to skip this part because I got some of my very first clients through people that I already know, and I honestly was very surprised about it because I didn't expect that they would have the type of network that I was trying to tap into, but it turns out that some of them did. And side note, in the beginning, I would totally be receptive to accepting gigs that maybe didn't fit perfectly into my niche, as long as I could learn some things, get comfortable working with clients, and very importantly, build my portfolio and or get a testimonial. So have as many conversations as you can with potential clients or even people who might not seem like your potential clients. Remember, with this method, you only need 2 or 3 core clients, and the more conversations that you have, the closer you get to that goal. Networking is something I'll be talking about a lot more on this channel because I believe that connection brings you the best clients. So make sure you're subscribed if you want more on my networking strategy. The last thing that I would do if I were starting my freelance business from scratch is that I would have this mindset that I am continually pitching and serving. So I'm pitching my services, and when I do get clients, I'm doing the best work that I can possibly do to serve them. Once I have some feelers out and I am building my network, I would be looking for opportunities to turn those casual conversations into discovery calls. Or if you're in-person, discovery coffee dates. So when I'm in Facebook groups or on LinkedIn, or if someone that I know refers someone to me, I am looking for green flags like, we're struggling to stay consistent with our blog. We've been meaning to improve our marketing. I have a feeling we could be doing this better, or I don't have time to do this. And when I see this, I respond with something like, that's exactly what I help clients with. If you ever want to hop on a call or have a meeting to see if I can support, let me know. This would also be a great time to slip in your discovery call booking link. That's it. There's no pressure and no cringy DMs. It's helpful, it's relevant, and it's direct. And once I land a client, here's the key to keeping that retainer and growing my business. Do good work. You're building a stable business, which means that how you deliver your service is just as important as how you market it. So I'd focus on having really clear communication. I'd be hitting all my deadlines, asking for feedback, and making their life easier in any way I realistically can. This is what gets you contract renewals. This is what gets you referrals. And this is what makes your income stable and gets you off the income roller coaster. I have learned that clients that feel supported stick around, and they often bring friends. So to recap, here are the 5 things I'm gonna do to rebuild my freelance business from scratch. Firstly, I would start with a mindset of business owner over freelance hustler. Then I would get clear on my niche and establish my authority as an expert in that niche with a clear, cohesive online presence. I would package my skills into monthly retainer services so I can create consistent income. I would show up for my ideal clients before they're even my clients and build trust. When it's time, I would pitch strategically. And then when I do have clients, I am focused on doing my best work. It's not sexy and it's not flashy, but after 7 years of freelancing, I'm telling you that this is what works. This is what has allowed me to build an ecosystem that brings me leads and referrals and consistent income. Now, to be clear, this doesn't mean that I would never do any outreach. Cold pitching might be a part of this, but remember, I'm focused on building my online presence and building connections. And more than likely, the clients that actually come and can afford my services and are actually going to stick around is going to come from networking. And once I have clients, I'm going to be communicating with them continuously so that I can improve my offer, which makes it easier to sell and easier for me to deliver. In other words, it makes it possible for me to make more money in less time. And as I refine my offer, I am also raising my rates so that I can work toward the lifestyle that I want instead of just trying to make ends meet. Now, I'll be real with you, it does take some time to get this system started, but it's nothing compared to the time that you'll waste on an endless cycle of low-paying clients and hacks that don't go anywhere. This plan is how you protect your time and your income and your energy from day one. If you want to follow the same framework that I use to go from burned out to booked out, make sure you head to the link down in the description and grab my Stable Freelance Method workbook. It walks you through everything we just talked about, and it includes action steps so you can start taking action today. If this video resonated, make sure you hit subscribe because I've got a lot more on the way to help you build a stable freelance business.